It's week 14 of fantasy football and you're watching The Couch. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming to the end of the regular fantasy football season and it's the perfect time to give out this year's fantasy awards. Last year, Arian was drafted in the 5th round in most leagues and became one of the best fantasy football players, the best running back in fantasy football last year. This year's Arian Award goes to none other than Jordy Nelson. Congratulations. Last year, Peyton Hillis went undrafted in virtually all early drafts in fantasy football. This year's Peyton Hillis Award goes to none other than Victor Cruz. Adrian Peterson had one of the best rookie years in fantasy football when he came into the league. And if you had him that year, you had a good team, like me. This year's Adrian Peterson Award goes to, you guessed it right, Cam Newton. Congratulations, Killer Cam. Brian Westbrook was one of the best running backs when he played in Philly. But he had a bad side to him. He was injury prone. This year's Brian Westbrook Award goes to Darren McFadden, a guy who always gets hurt in the clutch, always gets injured when you need him the most. And it was very close vote between Darren McFadden and Javid Best, another guy who gets hurt consistently every year. In many fantasy football drafts last year, Shawn was the 4th overall pick. Terrible pick. This year, for the Shawn Award, we have a tie between Mike Vick, a guy who threw 11 interceptions, got hurt, and has 0 rushing touchdowns, and Deshaun Jackson, a guy who was drafted way too early in every fantasy football draft and has been an overall disappointment. Now on to the waiver pickups for week 14. Take out your pen and paper and write these names down. My top 3 waiver pickups for week 14 are the Seahawks defense. Pretty good matchups for the rest of the year. Marion Barber. He's going to struggle with Haney back there, but he's still a talented running back. He will get a lot of carries. Miles Austin has been dropped in some leagues. Pick him up. He's going to be coming back this week. If not this week, he'll be coming back next week. And in deeper leagues, we have Devin Arumashadu, who's a good pickup because Michael Jenkins is on IR. Check the status on Raiders wide receivers. A lot of them are hurt. Kyle Williams on the Niners is a good pickup, and he's been really showcasing skills as of late. Golden Tate on the Seahawks isn't owned in pretty much every league he's unowned, and he'll make a good pickup in 16-man leagues. Logan Paulson, a guy who hasn't got too many chances this year, but he will be the #1 tight end in the Redskins, at least for now. And Jabbar Gaffney, a guy who keeps creeping on this waiver list and keeps disappointing, but I'm going to put him on here again. He is a good pickup, trust me. And now for our RotoNode.com question of the week. Who should I pick up for tight end since Fred Davis is getting suspended for 4 games? Gresham, Heath Miller, Selleck, Fasano, or someone else who's also unlikely to be owned at this point? This is a tough one, but you don't want to overthink this. Go with Jermaine Gresham. He has the most touchdowns out of the selection you gave me, and Andy Dalton likes to throw him the ball. And that's all the time we have for this week. Make sure you check last week's episode. We have some great bloopers, some surprises for you guys, and that will be the week 13 episode. Also, make sure you tune in next week for the week 15 episode. It's going to be real special. Follow us on Twitter at FantasyCouch, and make sure you like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/FBFantasyCouch. Neil Rackers was the best kicker last year, and for those of you who drafted him, congratulations. This year's Neil Rackers Award goes to David Akers.